So we got plenty of moisture in there. Nice bark. Passes the bend test. Holds up under its own weight, but pulls apart with ease. That is a great brisket. Welcome back everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to smoke a brisket flat in the Weber kettle. Now you don't need anything fancy or expensive to produce good barbecue. And we're going to show that today by using our red Weber. We picked this up off Marketplace for around $80. If you're just getting into barbecue, I definitely recommend trying to get something secondhand and starting with that. But we're going to get started today by setting this Weber up. So we're going to remove our lid and our cooking grate. And while we're here, we can open our bottom vent up. And then we're going to get started by setting up our snake. Now, if you wanted to see the snake method a bit more in depth, I'll put a link down in the description for you to check out. But basically, you want to get some briquettes and set them up in a domino fashion. If you've got small briquettes, I'd recommend a 2x2 stack. But for the larger style briquettes like we're using here, we're just going to be going a 2x1. So we'll have 2 down the bottom and then 1 going through the middle. And a lot of people question whether you get dirty smoke during the cook using the snake method. And the answer is no, not if it's set up and running properly. Once you put your startup briquettes in there, yes, while the briquettes are cold, they're going to produce dirty smoke. So all of your ashed over ones that you start your snake with, these briquettes, they're going to be preheated to a hot enough temperature that they'll catch light without producing dirty smoke. And they will burn clean throughout your whole cook. It's very much the same concept as using the minion method, where you're putting lit briquettes in with unlit stuff and using the unlit briquettes to fuel your whole cook. The snake method is used by millions of people all around the world, and it's a great way to set up your barbecue for low and slow cooking. So now what we can do is get about 10 to 12 briquettes in our chimney starter, get a couple of firelighters going, and light these briquettes up. Right, so we're going to wait until them briquettes are nice, red hot and ashed over. That's probably going to take around 10 to 15 minutes, so while that's happening, we're going to get this brisket trimmed up. So we've just got the flat here. Now, this was a whole brisket. I did trim the point off, and we used that in our brisket burn end video. So if you haven't seen that one, definitely check it out. And again, this brisket isn't anything fancy or expensive. It's some standard grain-fed beef. It was around $12 a kilo, which is super cheap for brisket here in Australia at the moment. So we'll get started by trimming it up. So this is the top of our brisket here. We're going to get started on the bottom. Any fat that's around 2 to 3 mil, I'm going to leave. If it's any more than that, I'll trim down. And we'll also remove any silver skin as well. The key to getting a brisket flat right is making sure you leave a nice fat coverage on there. Otherwise, it's potentially going to dry out, especially if it is a leaner brisket. If you're working with a highly marbled Wagyu brisket, you can afford to trim a little bit more off. And I'll share a couple of other tips later in the video to help keep your brisket flat, nice, tender and juicy. Any sort of thin edges like that, I'll trim off as well, as they'll just potentially overcook and burn. And don't throw your brisket trimmings away. You can always mince it up and it makes the perfect burger mince. Now this end here is quite thin, so just to keep the shape nice and uniform, and I think it would have struggled to fit in the Weber anyway, I'm just going to trim it straight across there. You want to try and have your brisket as even as possible. That's going to ensure a nice even cook. So I'm happy with this underside. I'm honestly not going to trim too much off the top here. I'd honestly like a little bit more fat coverage on top, but we'll work with what we've got. So I'm happy with how that's looking. Now we can get it seasoned up. So go ahead and get your favorite beef rub, or honestly, salt, pepper, garlic always does the trick. We're going to be using a combination of flavors. We've got a new rub I've been working on. It's very close to being released. Keep an eye out in the description. I'll put a link down there once it's available. And then we're also going to use some Heavenly Hell pistol powder. So we're just going to give this a nice even coverage on both sides. We'll start by putting a base layer of our new rub on, and then we'll top it off with the pistol powder. Right, so we're all trimmed and seasoned. We've got some smoking wood ready. I've gone with cherry. I absolutely love cherry with beef, but if you've got another favorite smoking wood, feel free to use that. So 3 small chunks like that is all I'm going to use for this brisket. You need to think of smoking wood as another ingredient. You just want a nice, subtle hint of smoke. If I was to use 5, 6, or 7 chunks, you'd get a very, very heavy smoke influence in that brisket. And I'll put links down in the video description for everything we're using today in case you did want to check it all out. So it's been about 15 minutes since we started our briquettes. Looks like they're ready, so let's get the rest of this Weber set up. So as you can see, our briquettes are nice and ashed over. We'll pour them in at the start of our snake, and we'll just stack them all up nicely. Get a couple of our wood chunks on, and we'll save this one to put at the start when we put our meat on. We can also put a drip tray down, and then we can get our lid on. And make sure your top vent's open as well as your bottom. So we'll just give our Weber 5 to 10 minutes to preheat now and for any dirty smoke to clear up. But as you can see, we've got no dirty smoke, and a lot of that comes down to what type of briquettes you're using. Now, we always use the B&B or the Olive Pipco briquettes. They are a really good product. They're chemical free, they're clean burning, and they always produce really stable temperatures. So we're going to look to run our Weber at around the 250 to 275 Fahrenheit or 120 to 135 Celsius range. And as always, we're going to leave our top vent open and control our temperatures with our bottom vent. So if we need to increase temperature, we'll open up our bottom vent slightly. If we need to decrease, we'll shut it down slightly. And if your temperatures really get away from you and you've closed your bottom vent down and they're still too high, don't be afraid to add boiling water to your drip tray, and that'll act as a water pan. It'll absorb some of the heat and really help stabilize your temperatures. So we're going to wait until our Weber's ready, and then we'll come back to get this brisket on. All right, so we're ready to get this brisket on. As you can see, these next briquettes here have started to catch alight without producing any dirty smoke. So we'll get our first chunk of smoking wood on, get our cooking grate on, and we'll get our beautiful brisket on. We're going to put a temperature probe on, nice and close to the brisket so we've got an accurate reading. And then we'll put our lid on, and we'll make sure at all times our lid vent is opposite to where the fire's burning. And that way, any smoke and heat is traveling through and over our brisket. So we'll be adjusting our lid position to follow the opposite side of the snake throughout this cook. And you also don't want to be placing your brisket directly over where the charcoal's burning. So later in this cook, as our steak burns around and starts to get underneath our brisket, we're just going to rotate our cooking grate away from it. So all we've got to do now is stabilize our temperature off at that range we spoke about before. Make sure you've got that nice, clear or thin blue looking smoke. If you've got thick, heavy white smoke, your fire's potentially choking. But like I said before, if you did want to see an in-depth video of the snake method, check out the video description. There's a link in there for you to have a look at. So we'll let our brisket smoke away now, and we'll check back in once we're about 1 to 2 hours into this cook. So just another little tip that I forgot to mention before when you're looking to stabilize off your Weber temperature. So for example, if we wanted to stabilize off at that 250 Fahrenheit or 120 Celsius range, I'm going to start shutting down that bottom vent to around a half to a quarter at around the 175 Fahrenheit range. And then I'll give it about 10 minutes to let it find itself. And if it stabilizes off a little bit too low, then I can just open up that bottom vent a little bit more to increase my temperature. I always find you're better off shutting down your bottom vent a little bit earlier because it's easier to increase temperature, as opposed to shutting down your vent too late. It's much more challenging trying to decrease your temperature once you've overshot your target. So that's just another handy little tip. We'll check back in soon. So we're about 2 hours into this cook now. Our Weber's holding beautifully around our target temperature. So let's open it up and have a look at this brisket. All right, so our brisket's looking beautiful. Just gonna rotate our cooking grate a little bit, just so it's a bit further away from where our snake's burning. Now it's looking a little bit dry on top, so I'm just gonna give it a light spritz. And that's gonna help us with some bark formation and moisture retention. So we'll get this lid back on and let our brisket keep smoking away. So when you're spritzing, be careful to not get your briquettes wet because you don't want to potentially smother your fire. Now we're just going to continue to let our brisket smoke away, and we'll spritz it every hour until we reach an internal of around 160 Fahrenheit or 71 degrees Celsius. We're also going to make sure we're happy with the bark at that stage, and then we'll look to wrap it up. So we'll be back then. All right, we're coming up to 4 hours into this cook. Let's have a look at our brisket, and I reckon we'll be pretty close to wrapping it. All right, brisket's looking awesome. Our bark is set nicely. Quick check of our internal. Pretty much around our 160 mark. I'm happy to wrap it up. Right, so our brisket's out, we're ready to wrap it, and with brisket flats, I like to wrap in foil. You're not going to lose any moisture with foil as opposed to butcher's paper, and I'm also going to add a couple of things to this. So these are the juices from our drip tray. I'm just going to pour them over the top. And then I've also got some beef tallow here, so I'm going to pour that over as well. That's really going to help with moisture retention, and there's also some beautiful flavour in there. If you don't have beef tallow, you can always use a couple of tablespoons of butter, and then we'll get this brisket wrapped up nice and tight. All right, and this is ready to go back in our Weber. Just Place our brisket here this time, and we're almost halfway through our snake, so I reckon this will be about a 10-hour burn time. And this is the stage I'll chuck a meat probe in the brisket, then we can close our lid. So now our brisket's going to go back in the smoker, and we're going to start checking for tenderness at around the 205 Fahrenheit or 96 degrees Celsius internal mark. Now that might get there in 2 hours, it might get there in 6, we don't know. It might stall, it might not. I'm not going to stress about it. That's why I always recommend getting briskets on earlier than you think. Then that way, if your brisket is done early, you can always just rest it a little bit longer up until you're ready to serve it. But if you do hit the stall, just be patient. That's when all the magic is happening. And foil does help push through the stall as it creates a bit of radiant heat. If you are running out of time and you want to try and push through it, you can push your smoker up to that 300 Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius level. But honestly, my recommendation is to just leave it through the stall and it will eventually push through it. So we're just going to let our brisket go. We're going to continue to rotate our cooking grate so our brisket is never over our burning part of the snake, and we'll come back once we're ready to check for probe tenderness. Right, so our brisket's been wrapped up for just over 2 hours now, so we're just over 6 hours into this cook in total. Our snake has been holding perfectly around our target temperature, and we've actually now hit our target internal temperature in the brisket of that 205 Fahrenheit or 96 degrees Celsius mark. So now we'll start checking for probe tenderness. So our brisket's feeling quite nice up this end, but as we get further towards this end, still a little bit tight. It's not far behind. So what I might do is wrap our brisket back up, and I might rotate it around, and that way this end that's a touch behind is closer towards where the fire's burning, so it'll catch up and hopefully even out to that end. So I'm just going to come back every half an hour now and check again for probe tenderness until I'm happy with it. Now, we never really hit the stall during that cook. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it'll be a short one, sometimes it'll last for hours. But this looks like it'll be a short cook, so I'll take that. But as for now, we'll come back once I'm happy with how this brisket is probing. All right, it's been another hour. That's feeling much better. So now let's carefully get this out. Right, so I'm just going to let this brisket sit for about 5 minutes unwrapped just to steam off and stop that cooking process. And then after that, I'm going to wrap it back up. There's plenty of juice in there and I'm going to let that brisket rest. Now, if I rest it at room temperature when we wrap it back up, that's going to stay hot for about 1 to 2 hours. Now, if I wanted to get even longer out of it, I could wrap it back up in foil. I'd put an old towel around it, put it in an esky, and I'd seriously get 4, 5, 6, even 7 hours out of it. Or if I wanted to serve it for tomorrow's lunch, for example, I could wrap it back up and hold it in the oven at around 70 degrees Celsius until I'm ready to serve it. So make sure you rest your brisket. It really does make a difference, especially with these flats, as it's going to allow all of those juices to settle back through the whole cut. And I find when you're resting it in all them juices as well, it really does absorb some of it and obviously helps to keep your brisket nice and juicy. So we'll come back once we're ready to slice and serve this. Right, so our brisket's been resting for an hour now. It's time for the moment of truth. Let's open it up, slice it, and have a taste. Now, don't throw away them juices. You can always freeze it and use it in a future cook. A great smoke ring. Plenty of juice in there. So we got plenty of moisture in there. Nice bark. Passes the bend test. Holds up under its own weight, but pulls apart with ease. So we've got a great amount of moisture in our brisket. The fat's rendered nicely. It passes the bend test. It holds up under its own weight, but it pulls apart with ease. So now that's all left to do is taste. Still got some nice bark on there. That's really, really nice. That is a super, super tasty brisket. I know a lot of people have trouble cooking just the flat, so always try get a nice thick flat. You want to try and get plenty of marbling in there. And then if you follow the rest of the video, you should have one that turns out very much like this. Well, that's the end of the video, guys. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.